Hey guys, I'm going to be talking about some story problems today. But before we even get started with looking at the story problems, I just want to show you how equations really make a difference in what we're solving. Okay, so there's three different types of equations I have here. I have a number plus a number equals something. I have a number plus a blank, which will give me 26. And I have a blank plus 12, which would give me 26. The reason I'm showing you this is because sometimes equations can be set up where there are unknowns in different spaces. So as you can see, this one's at the end, this one's in the middle, and this one is at the beginning. And all three of these equations are actually the same equation. I just took out one number from each of those. So this one's going to be your basic one. This one is probably something you're used to seeing. 14 plus 12. So that's pretty simple. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just really quickly show you how I would solve that on a number line. I would start by adding 14 to the beginning because that's my bigger number. I'm going to go ahead and add 10 because that's a friendly number and I like that, which would give me 24. And I need to add 2 more because it's asking me to add 12. It's not asking me to add 10. So that would give me a total of 26. So I very quickly just solved the first equation. Now, when we get down below where there's an unknown in the middle, it's a little bit more challenging, so we have to be careful with that. So we have 14 plus something equals 26. Okay, so we have two numbers, but the middle is missing. So we can again start at 14. And this time, I want to end at 26. So my goal is to jump as many times as it takes to get to 26. So I'm going to start with that plus 10 because I like friendly numbers and you guys should be used to doing this already. So we're going to do that, which would be 24. And then if I added 2 more, that's going to go all the way up to 26. Okay, and then how I get my answer is by looking at what I just added. 14 plus what equals 26. 10 and 2 make 12. So as you can see, so far my equations are the same. But then we get down to the bottom. Something plus 12 more equals 26. So one way I could solve this is by actually starting at 26 and taking 12 away. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you that. And I have to start with the 26 on this end because if we were counting, we're always going to start on the left and count to the right. So the right side will always be the largest number out of your equation. So let me take the 12 away. So I'm going to do my big jump of 10. So that's going to be minus 10. And then that would give me 16. Minus 2 more because I want to do minus 12. That would give me 14. Okay, so now it looks like all of my equations are the same. So that's how you can solve with unknowns in all places. Let's go ahead and look at a story problem. Before we get there, here are the steps that we need to follow to solve our equation. First, we need to actually read the problem. We need to find the question and underline it because the question could give us an answer as to what number is going to be missing. It's important to highlight or underline the important numbers. We have to write a number sentence, and a number sentence is just this. It's where you are adding or subtracting. Then we have to finally solve, but I want you to make sure that you go back and check. Did you answer the question? Here's an example. The brothers picked some fruit at the orchard. They picked 24 apples and 13 peaches. How many pieces of fruit did the brothers pick? This one's pretty simple. So they want to know how many pieces of fruit did the brothers pick. So that's going to be a total. I need to know how many in all. So I see 24 apples and I see 13 peaches. So my equation is going to be 24 plus 13 equals something. So my job is to figure out what it equals. And I know that my line's a little squiggly. That's because I'm trying to use my mouse to draw these things. So even though it's a little squiggly, we can still figure out what I'm trying to do here, okay? So 24 plus that magic 10 will give me 34 plus 3 more. 35, 36, 37. So plus 3 more would be 37. 24 plus 13 equals 37. So did it answer the question? How many pieces of fruit did the brothers pick? Sure did. 37 pieces of fruit. Let's try one that's a little harder. There were 34 kids at the birthday party. 11 of them were girls, and some of them were boys. How many of the kids were boys? Let's see. How many of the kids were boys? Oops, that was a little squiggly. Sorry about that. Okay, I know how many are in all. I know how many were girls, but I don't know how many were boys. I'm actually going to circle some just so I don't forget. 34. So 34 is actually going to be my total. So I'm going to start with 34. It might look a little silly because it's going to be backwards. 34 is my answer, so I'm going to put an equal sign. 11 were girls, and some were boys. So that's where the unknown comes in. So 11 plus something equals 34. And I'm going to use my number line. I know that sometimes we have other strategies, but I really like a number line. So 11 plus something will equal 34. Okay, so let me go ahead and add 10. 11 plus 10 equals 21. Plus 10 equals 31. Oops. And wait a minute. 31, 32, 33, 34. I only need 3 more. Plus 3 more equals 34. And that's actually as far as I needed to get. So I actually made my line a little bit too big. So I'm just going to get rid of that real quick. Now to figure out how many I jumped, I just have to count my jumps. 10, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 11 plus 23 equals 34. How many kids were boys? 23 were boys. Let's try another. There were some red fish living in the tank and 22 blue fish. Altogether, there were 45 fish living in the tank. How many of the fish were red? Well, let's see. How many of the fish were red? Okay, I need to figure out how many are red. Well, I know, some were red. That's not giving me a good number. 22 were blue, and there were 45 total. So let me see if I can set this up. Some. Every time I see some, I'm going to put a box because that's the unknown. Some were red, and 22 were blue. So I'm going to add that together, and it will give me 45. Now I have to figure out what the unknown is. So there's my number line. I'm going to start with my bigger number over here, 45, and take 22 away. I'm just going to do one big jump of 20 because I know that if I do 10, that would be 35. So then another 10 would be 45. So I'm just going to do a huge jump, minus 20, which would give me 25. So now I only have to take 2 more away because it wants me to subtract 22. So let me go ahead and take 2 more away, minus 2. And that equals 23. Okay, so 23 plus 22 equals 45. So my question was, how many of the fish were red? 23 were red. Last one. The girl had 16 crackers, and she ate some. Now she has 5 crackers left. How many did she eat? Okay, let's talk about this. She had 16. She ate some. Now she has 5 left. Oh, I'm not on left because I know that's important. How many did she eat? Now, when I think about eating, I know that it's taking something away. And the word left also makes me know that this is going to be some sort of subtraction. Okay, so she had 16. So I'm going to make that my first number. She ate some. So she took away some. Now she has 5 left. So that's going to equal 5. 16 minus something equals 5. So we're going to start with 16 minus something. So let's do a jump of 10 first, just because I like those numbers. And I know that if I do 10, it's not going to reach 5 yet. So it's okay to do a jump of 10, because it's going to give me 6. 16 minus 10 equals 6. Well, that's easy because I only need one more. I know 6 minus 1 equals 5. So to figure out what this unknown is, all I have to do is take away how much I jumped. 10 plus 1, 10, 11. 16 minus 11 equals 5. How many did she eat? The girl ate 11 crackers. So just a quick review. How to solve story problems. You have to make sure you read the problem. Sometimes the unknown is in the beginning. It might be in the middle. It might be at the end. You have to be careful and underline the question. That will help you figure out what you need to know. Highlight the important numbers. I didn't highlight them. I circled them. And that's okay as long as you are finding those important numbers. If you want to highlight them, go for it. If you want to underline, maybe even circle, whatever works for you. You're going to write a number sentence. Make sure that when you are writing these sentences, you are adding or subtracting depending on what the equation is asking or what the story problem is asking, because it can be tricky sometimes. Finally, you're going to solve. Using a number line is a great strategy. Now, the last one that I just did was very simple, and if you can do it in a different way, that's okay. But in class, we've been talking about the number line, so that's a strategy that I would like to stick with. Make sure you are thinking about if you answered the question or not, okay? So it's important to answer the question. If it wants to know how many crackers, that's what you need to find out. So I hope that this video was helpful, and I look forward to doing some more story problems with you guys soon.